So let's look at some more of these pro materials. Now there are quite a variety of pro materials here. I'd like you to just note some of them. And what we're going to do is, rather than choose a pro material and change some of its parameters as we've done with the ceramic material, I'm going to go directly to a material library. So let's assume here, click on Open, and we'll go here to the Program Files, 3ds Max 2009, Material Libraries. So what you'll find here is a wealth of materials already predefined. So you have a series of architectural materials, some templates here at the top, and then a group of pro materials down here at the bottom. So assuming that we're going to choose a material for some of the walls, let's start with a stone material for one of them. Click on Open. And here you'll get a whole series of stone materials that have already been created. Click on this third icon here, so your material map browser will change, showing spheres that indicate the material's appearance. If you want to then place them into your material editor, you can double click on it and it will select it and place it into the material editor. Now you can see here that this particular material is a pro material stone, and here are some of the parameters that have been defined for it. Now, even if we double click on this to give us a larger view, it's a little hard to appreciate how exactly that might look. So let's go ahead here and use a different sample geometry. And then this shows me that same material now on a cube. Let's go ahead here and have a look at its map. I've clicked on the bitmap icon, and I'll scroll down here to the bitmap level, and I'll just click here on View Image. So that's an image of the bitmap that's being used in this stone material. So let's go ahead and make sure that that bitmap will show once we've applied this. And we'll go ahead and dismiss some of our windows. Select that side wall here, and let's go ahead and, well, you can either just click to apply it, or you can also use a drag and drop. And go ahead and render the area that we have been rendering so far. And here is the end result of that render. So you can see the material, how it is appearing on our wall. Just like to check here in the surface bumps. You can see here that this bitmap looks mostly like a grayscale version of the original 24-bit color image, and you can see that areas where there is grout that should be receded, they should be very dark, and they're not. So this would be something that we could improve upon if we took this specific bump map and brought it into Photoshop and played with it a little bit and changed all these changed all the grouted areas to a darker color, to black or close to black. So let's look at another material for this surface here. We'll actually apply a glass material to it. But let's go back to our material map browser, go to File, Open, and in the Materials Library list, we'll find here in Solid Glass Material Library. We'll select that. Let's start with just a clear glass. Let's apply that to selected object. And here, let's change the reference thickness. The thickness of that object was 5 centimeters. And when we bring up the render window, what I'd like to do is to change a couple of values here to lower values. These are the number of reflections and refractions that will occur in the scene. The higher those values are, the longer it'll take to render. These are reflections or refractions of refractions. It's not really necessary to have this very high unless you have a lot of reflective objects in your scene. So let's change here our rendered area. Let's just make it a little bit higher, and we'll go ahead and render that. So here's the end result of rendering the region with our glass area. And you can see it darkens a little bit the material behind on the wall and does a little bit of a reflection. Although we can't see these objects yet, they would be reflected in this area approximately. Let's go ahead here and play with the surface imperfections. You can see here that we can apply a type of imperfection or actually apply a map ourselves. So let's just choose wavy, and the amount here we can adjust. And go ahead and render again. So using the wavy surface imperfection has given me almost a frosted effect to my glass, which is not exactly what I wanted. So let's look at using a custom map. I'm going to go down here, change this to custom, select custom map. Now, instead of browsing from the material library, we'll go to New, and we'll select here a map called a noise map. Now, noise maps are very useful. They're a different type of map. They're called parametric maps because they're essentially generated by parameters that you set. So let's try here. We'll go down to this noise parameters, and we'll just try to introduce a map with a certain dimension. So this is currently set to 25, and it would be in the units of our model. Let's try something around 30 and go up. So this has now been introduced here, and re-render. So after fiddling around with our glass material here and enlarging our rendered area, you can see we have a reasonable reflection here with a wavy appearance. So let's go back to the material and see a little bit how the parameters were adjusted. Reflectance was changed, was increased to 0.25, and the custom map noise is still at the settings that it was originally set at. The amount, though, was reduced back down to its default level of 0.03.